In 1992, a company called AM General that had been building the Humvee military truck for quite a few years decided to put together a civilian version. They called it the Hummer, and the thing was just a leviathan beast, and it became internationally renowned as probably the least sociable vehicle on the face of the planet. In 1998, General Motors bought the rights to the Hummer name, and it continued building the Humvee, which was known as the H1 under General Motors. And then it also introduced two other models, the H2, which was based on the same platform as the GMT 800 truck at the time, and then the H3, which was a smaller vehicle based on the Chevrolet Colorado. But then when General Motors went bankrupt, Hummer was one of the brands that took the axe. And Hummer back then was sold through its own network of dealers. Hummer is back though, and it's been back. It was launched again in 2020, this time under the GMC brand. Although you won't see many GMC motifs on it because it is marketed strictly as a Hummer. And this time it's just an EV. The pickup truck launched first, which is enormous. But now we've got the SUV version, which is behind me. And this is a bit like a decaffeinated version of the pickup truck. Hi, this is Darren, and this is Auto Atlantica. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to Mike, the general manager, and his crew at Stadium GM in Salem, Ohio, for letting me come out this evening and do a walk around of this truck. Now, this thing is the first SUV version that they've got in, but it's also sold, so I can't actually take it for a drive. This is an edition 1. It's the launch edition EV SUV, and they're going to make it roughly around 2,500 of these. GM have not stated exactly how many they're going to make, but they have given a rough estimate. Now, yeah, I know this is not a politically correct vehicle. As EVs go, it's actually very inefficient. It has a monumental 200 kilowatt hour plus battery pack. It's actually slightly downgraded from the pickup. They've taken out 2 modules out of the battery from the pickup, which is about a 215 kilowatt hour battery. So it's slightly less, and it's got slightly less range. So this has got a range of around about 305 miles. Yes, it's grossly inefficient, but look at what it is. It's a Hummer. Being the first edition, it's got 3 motors. It's got 1 in the front and 2 in the back. The production version will come in 2 versions, a 2-motor version and a 3-motor version. And the 3-motor version in production trim will be actually slightly more expensive than this. The 2-motor version is about 20,000 less. So let's start with some statistics first of all. This thing is actually about 20 inches shorter than the pickup truck, and it's got a 9-inch shorter wheelbase as well. So actually, in terms of maneuverability, it's big, but it doesn't feel as gargantuan as the pickup truck does. And so that's going to make it easier if you are in town, comparatively speaking, or if you are parking, comparatively speaking, compared with the pickup truck. However, it's not the length that's really an issue, because it's actually about 19 inches shorter than a Chevrolet Suburban. But look at the girth. It's 2 inches higher than a Suburban, and it's a whole 5 inches wider. It's 86 inches wide. It's enormous. This thing weighs 9,600 pounds. I don't normally do metrication on this channel since I'm primarily based in the US, so it's a bit pointless, but that's about 4,300 kilos in British speak. So it's huge. It's enormous. So what else have we got?
Let's talk tyres. All Hummer EVs come with these Goodyear Wrangler all-territory tyres. The Two motor versions come with 305 section 18-inch wheels, while this tri-motor version comes with 22-inch wheels. These are particularly big.
So these lights are like 2,000 a piece. Press this button here. The trunk actually flips to the side. Might be able to flip the front. See if I can do that. So this is the front. This is where your engine will normally be, and it's got this really cool HEV logo there. This is your escape hatch. So you press that button if you lock yourself inside, and you can get out. If you want to put some suitcases in there, you can do. I think the charger is actually in the back. Speaking of the charger, I think you get like a standard, you get a level 1 and a level 2 charger with this. If you want to charge this thing with a level 1 charger, it's going to take you 56 hours to charge it. Yes, if you want to charge it using a level 2 at home, it's going to take you 10 hours. So here's your CCS charging port right here. This will accept 300 kilowatt hour chargers, and you can charge about 100 miles in about 15 minutes. In 2024, these will come with an NACS adapter, so you can charge it at Tesla superchargers in accordance with the recent GM agreement with Tesla. And then from 2025, they will also have NACS ports fitted as standard. I love the design. It's so bold. This is so Hummer. These really nice sort of like piano black wheel arches look tremendous, and they run along the bottom just above the running boards. The wheels really do give it a monumental look, and I'll see if we can get this light bar to work. There's the light bar that comes into life right there with the Hummer motif lit up. Right, so without further ado, let's climb aboard and take a look inside this thing. Firstly, I'm going to show you at the back. Since we couldn't open the trunk for some reason, it's cavernous in here by virtue of the width. It's not that long. It's really only as long as a Tahoe. I don't think it's even as long as a Tahoe. But the width is what makes this car so capable. And you've got that wide stance, which makes it amazing for off-road use. So you've got the third zone climate control in the back here. This seat is all the way back, so there's actually a fair bit of room in here. Not as much as my Ram pickup truck, but it's certainly commodious back there. The colour of this, by the way, is Moonshot Green Matte. All of the first editions are in this colour. Now, these doors are just amazing. I just love the chunky feel of this thing. Just look at those door handles, these massive mirrors, these these are your vents. Just look at those things. Everything is just monolithic, and that's the way it's meant to be. It's a Hummer. These seats, you've got the Hummer EV logo there, and this sort of like planted seat. It's sort of like a leatherette material, but very, very hard wearing. Let's climb aboard. You got memory settings. This is pretty much standard GM fare here. I'm going to start it up. And you can have various displays here. I'm not going to mess with this because it is somebody's car. But there's actually an LED in the top of the steering wheel that tells you your state of charge as well. Out front, your state of charge is actually shown on the headlights. I will come to that. But on this display, you've got obviously speedometer in the middle. It's got all of your basically essential instruments. I love the compass there that's on the left-hand side, giving you that amazing sort of like off-road feel. You've got navigation on the right-hand side as well. You've got this massive screen in the middle, and you've got Google Maps. This is your sort of like one-time demo. We've got the off-road experience. Don't even ask me about this because I haven't got a clue. This is where it gets very detailed. What I will tell you is that it does have perimeter cameras on it, which gives you your 3D view. There is another camera that sits underneath that is self-washing, and with that camera you can tell, you'll be able to see what your clearance is when you are basically rock climbing with this thing. Now, this does have the crawl feature where it will crawl diagonally like the pickup truck as well, but it's not as pronounced apparently. So I guess these are your cameras. There's the three, there's your perimeter cameras giving you your 3D. Obviously that's the home, that's your in-car entertainment, standard fare. This is for towing, and all your tire pressures there. That's assuming this has got it. I know that the pickup truck does. You can let the air down to go over rough terrain from inside the vehicle. And this graphic is just incredible. Look at the rock. And this shows you what the suspension's doing while you're off-road, and your various G-forces and drift angles as well. That is way beyond my remit, I'm afraid. The bonnet just extends for miles. This is basically your standard OnStar. Now, these roof panels, which are blue, these are made by Magna, and they are completely removable. So it basically turns the thing into a convertible. Everything about it is chunky. I love this center console. Reminds me of my truck. And you've got, this is your mode to go into the crawl, where it will take you sideways. This is for your air suspension up and down. But just look at this shifter, true Hummer. This is not at all a subtle vehicle, and it's not meant to be. And then you've got more controls here for lane assist, etc. Okay, so on the front, these are your headlights. Underneath, these are not the headlights. This is just basically a light bar that goes across. Obviously you've got your parking lights here, but what appears to be a headlight here, you can see that powering down now. Each of these bars represents a level of charge. So you can tell what the level of charge is just by looking at the front of the vehicle. Just phenomenal. And if you need to be towed out, you have your tow hooks right there. Right, well, I finally found the button for the mirrors. These retract in and out, which is common on trucks these days because they're so wide. You've got perimeter central locking as standard, which you'd expect on a vehicle which is $107,000. Now, I think for $107,000, this vehicle is, for what it can do, is tremendous value for money. Bear in mind that this produces 830 brake horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque. It is truly immense. The Rivian R1S actually costs more than this, and it's a smaller vehicle as well and produces nothing like the same kind of power. I think GM have knocked it out of the ballpark with this thing. Right, so that's it from me. Massive thanks to Stadium GM in Salem, Ohio for letting me come out this evening and take a play with this Hummer EV SUV. It's just, well, words define me with this car. It's everything I expected it to be from a Hummer. Grotesque, outrageous, inefficient, but munificent at the same time. There are very few places that this vehicle won't be able to go, and in time, when the charging infrastructure improves, it'll be even more capable, because that's the only thing that's holding it back right now. So that's it from me. I'm Darren, and this is Auto Atlantica.